I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you and your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the metaphor. We at war. I sided with the Lord.
Control your dishes, pots, pans, forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment in a hotel. You know what I mean? This here right here is about to be holy ground. This will be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you and your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the metaphor. We at war. I sided with the Lord.
Control your dishes, pots, pans, forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment in a hotel. You know what I mean? This here right here is about to be holy ground. This will be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
Shalom, Hebrew. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the nation of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at this time. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are the Israelites in the Bible. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahweh Barakatah to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Ailatan Basham Yahweh to the sisters. All right, now welcome to our Sunday afternoon scripture breakdown class. All right, first things first. World War III on the horizon. But more at our doorstep now. Last week we talked about a Canadian diplomat who, casting criticism at Jamaica. Yeah. I mean, there are so many countries out there who can go criticize him, find time to criticize and ostracize and demonize Jamaica. Jamaica was so struggling economically. But, he saw it fit to weigh in on Jamaica's demise. But he's ill-informed because he doesn't know that whatever is happening to Jamaica really was set by his people. Yeah. The very same people who had Jamaica in their hands, who they pass it on to. When Jamaica gained independence, the country wasn't handed over in the children of the slaves. Yeah. It wasn't handed over to us. But we get criticism and demonized for everything. All right, there's a part 2 to his ranting that we want to look at. But in the meantime, we hear that Putin put nukes on high alert. Putin ain't joking. Wasn't it just last week we were singing the song, Putin a go mash up NATO. Putin a go bust on a tomato. Yeah. Well, it's not so far-fetched now. Right. And you find that the very same people saying that man, we didn't expect him to do this so fast. In other words, they weren't expecting Putin to go in this direction already. Yeah. Really and truly still, many of us wasn't expecting it either. Yeah, because, things going south real fast. Yeah. All right, we'll listen what he has to say. Come on, you don't want to play. All right, this man here don't want to play. But you're gonna play. Let me refresh the page and see what happened.
Saying they're not going to church, or they cannot name the church they're going to. Okay, they're gonna be ostracized. They're gonna be ostracized. They're gonna be ridiculed. It's insane how my friends actually suffered and got bullied because of this. Okay, so that's a problem. Dealing with the government. Okay, that's a big issue too. Okay, of course it's a developing nation, but the thing is there's a lot of corruption. Soon come, of course, applies there, so you're gonna have to wait for tons of things, and you don't have any recourse or issues. If you have any problems, forget about it. Sometimes you're gonna have one staff that's gonna take care of importation. If that staff's not there, not interested in doing the work, or once they have a $500 bribe and you're not willing to give the money, then you can just wait for weeks in order to get your stuff, and by then you have to pay all the fees and everything. So that's why.
All right. You see, well, he's from a first world country where he's used to putting in applications for something. Today, and you're here back within 3 days or so. Maybe that's what he's used to. But one, you're in a third world country, that's part of it. Two, it doesn't mean that because there's a delay, it's deliberate so that you bribe them. You come in, you just like when you make a phone call sometimes, they tell you that you are in a queue. You put in an application for something, you are in a queue. You know, take it on yourself to go and give them a money to skip ahead of the queue. Yeah. So we out here, we do business that we not pay bribe to get what we need done, and we're getting them done. It's just that it might take a little time because for whatever reason, maybe you have one office that might be doing a certain, who process certain application for the entire island. So it takes time.
So you said that's what he had to do?
No, what he's saying is that that's the process, but because he's from the diplomatic corps, then they are not allowed to take part in bribes. So he had to wait. When you apply for your visa, at the same time, can you give it back? Right. We don't have to wait when we want a visa and join line and something too.
A lot of people, they just shut up, they pay the fee, and that's it. But embassies and diplomats are not allowed to do that, okay? And we shouldn't do it.
Well, the word in use here is fee. Pay their fee. There's a difference between fee and bribe. You know? A fee is a charge. So it's that you are seeing a charge for something which in your country you would have gotten for free. That might be, maybe that's the case. That don't mean it's a bribe. It's just that they charge for it out here. As a matter of fact, US visa, they charge what, $200 US. In some countries, in Panama, how much they charge? It must be about $40 for visa application. And some countries it's less. And probably in some European countries it might be free. Right? And you have some country, fix that for me. And you have some country in which you travel, they travel with the US ticket on it. They travel to the US and they don't require a visa, they just have their passport. That's just relation. But anyway, they use the word fee.
So that caused a lot of issue on the island for that. Although they still do respect diplomat, that's not bad. But yeah, we had a lot of issues with that.
Yeah, you jump over that. Yeah, they still respect diplomat. You should be glad for that. They all come out here, all different countries with them, blah, 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 and we still show them respect. You should be glad for that. But him just jump over it. Yeah, they still respect diplomats, blah, blah, blah. It's not only diplomat they respect white people too, man. Why you not say that? I never that fact is some because they never talk, you know, they don't have all that. Ukraine is just a bait still. Bait them a bait up Zelensky, but I hope that Zelensky eyes open on him see. As a matter of fact, I hope for nothing. I hope that the Third World War start. That's what I hope for. Right. The most I come free. We from under the hands of people like all of you who turn on the pressure and still say, I'm not guilty. You know?
The noise. If it's not the dogs barking, it's gonna be the preacher.
Right. You have problem with even dog bark. You know no dog in Canada. And the dog in Canada, the mouth are governed.
So when I expecting a third world country?
You might expect Canadian barking. That must be. They complain about dogs barking. I mean, dogs don't bark in Canada. Eh? Exactly. Well, our dogs sleep outside, so then sit up, they were back. But you mentioned even the stadium. But this part now, when you mention the stadium, make me wonder how long ago him do this video. Really a long while now, even before Corona and anything, not really keeping that stadium, you know. So make me wonder how long ago him really do this video. But at least when it's about stadium.
Or the politicians or whatever, they're gonna monopolize the stadium and yelling all night long. Okay, very
Monopolize the stadium. What is it? From last week, I'm asking the question. What's his angle? The things you're complaining about. What's the angle in complaining about that? I mean, politicians monopolize the stadium. If I want the stadium to use, I can go and pay the fee and get it to use it. You remember there was a time when Sting used to keep our stadium?
God.
Yeah. Many other events used to keep at the stadium and the arena. Right? It's just that them give, after a while, they give Sting a place for themselves. But political events don't really keep at the stadium, they keep at the arena, the national arena. And that is when you have, when they come close to election time. Other than that, what kind of events they keep there? The stadium is there and the arena void. I don't understand what you mean by the monopolize it. Like maybe he wanted it to use and couldn't get it. Is that the case?
related to the thing. This
You don't want to pay the fee.
was crazy. All the time there were things, the stadium was literally open air and everybody heard that stuff all night long. That was another issue.
Open air. So why should we have a closed stadium in this beautiful, lovely tropical island? We don't need a stadium that is not open air. We have arena for that. The national arena, you want closed place. Because these countries that have closed stadium is because of winter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they have closed stadium. Other than that, stadium is open air. So what's your angling complaining about? A stadium. The place that he did not live near the stadium. Is sure of that because they don't put diplomat within that circle. So we're sure he wasn't living near the stadium.
The noise in Jamaica is super loud. Nobody cares. Bars are open, window open, and of course you hear them all the time. That was really tough.
Bars are open all the time. They don't have bars in Canada.
What am I complaining about? Probably just a complaint say we exist.
It must be. This problem must be our existence.
God.
What are you complaining about, really? You're complaining about noise. All right. You come to a country, it might be small, but call it 3 million people. Can 3 million people be here and not making noise? We're not on a slave ship. Right? And I'm sure there must have been noise on the slave ship too.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I know, and I use that term because I know that's how you people, but I don't admit it, but that's how you still see us. That is why I complain about when I make noise. Yeah. It's like in America when you used to have the laughing barrel.
Right.
You remember how they down south? You as a black man on the road and you want to laugh, go stuck your face in the barrel and laugh. They're not supposed to laugh, make them hear. There is so many atrocities that they do against us. The problem with Jamaica is they are not used to seeing Israelites with this much freedom. They are not used to it. We might not be financially there, but you know, the fact that you are able to go on the road, a diplomat drive up in car beside you and maybe block your wrong or something, and you push your head through the window and say, hey, P-hole, put over your car and tell him about the parts and not come out of it. That must be what bothering them, because it cannot happen in for them country. Black people can't do that. Whites can do it though, ain't And the fact that he could be on a beach and when him look him see blacks on the beach, that must be the case. He's offended. He's offended by our existence.
The housing. Okay, our house in Jamaica was very nice. I grant that. Okay, look, you see the house. Okay, it was 7.
Yeah, man, the house was very nice, and I can better say it wasn't owned by no black people.
We can't say that about our house.
No, it's not just that. Those who get the privilege to rent house to diplomats are not normally blacks, you know.
Right.
And then normally black people get that privilege there.
Yeah.
So me and you can build a nice house, even like the one that he live in, you know. But we won't have the privilege to rent it to a diplomat. Right? So yeah, the house was very nice. And what else?
7,000 a month. 1 acre land at the top of the mountain.
He says $7,000 a month. US.
Okay.
Now, whoever rent that never see that is a rip-off, man.
Whoever rent in it or whoever.
All right. He didn't rent it directly.
Yeah.
The diplomatic corps, he belongs to a diplomatic corps. So maybe it's the Canadian government who is paying the money.
Okay.
Right. And that money, you don't know what, that money they don't involve only the rental of the property. The security cost would be in it. The helpers that are there, the maintenance and thing would be in it. Electricity, water, utilities probably in it. Because talking about $7,000 a month, how much Jamaican dollar that, man?
Well, that's $1 million.
1 point something million Jamaican dollar. How much money that?
I only for money, yes, but you might, when you look on the house, you might say, boy, trust me. And the work will take to do the things that make him comfortable.
Exactly.
It might work.
Why I'm not complaining about him wanting such a big house.
Right.
With pool.
Right.
And just you and 2 picnic.
Right.
How much room you can occupy at a time?
Right.
You see, this is why most times they end up being scared, because you're in one house with 16 rooms. You can't be in no more than one at a time. When you do at this one, what do you think going to happen in the next one? You don't know.
Yeah.
You know the story about you ever hear the story about in Mandeville where a couple returned from England and build, you know how they build the houses on the hillside, or them split level house.
Right.
So they take the house from down the gully and come all the way up. All right. So you have 4 floors below the part where them want to live.
Yeah.
4 floors down, but it's not full floor, not 4 full floors, right?
Yeah.
Because the split level, some of the sections are much smaller. And the bottom level, only 2 retired persons, them live upstairs in the top part. That's the part they want to sprawl up. Somebody break in and live in the bottom level, the ground level, for 3 months, you know. And it's one night they came in and got them go out most time, And like in the 9 o'clock, they hear sounds down there and they call the cops. When they call the cops come in and they do them thing and they find a man inside the house. Lock him up. Interrogate him. What you doing in the man's place? What you doing in this place? Yeah. My officer 3 months now, there. So they go to they ask the people them now, did you rent this man any place? We're not aware of him living here. So the man living in place 3 months and then no. What do you think happened that night? The man come in little too soon. Him normally come in like 10, 11. That time them gone to sleep and them squeeze through the window and come in and while him sleep and come back out. What do you think happened? He could not be charged for breaking and entering. He could not be charged. They couldn't charge him. Why? Man didn't allow him as a tenant. The only thing the cops could do is, take him out and advise them to rent out the place. Right? Yeah. So, I mean, not because you have the wealth mean that you must have this big thing here most times, Sometimes it's your own, it's to your comfort. That's what you say. But how much are you comfortable with at the time? One. Me know about big house, so I can tell you say 3/4 that hard to maintain. That's one. Yeah. So in paying some money, that means that every week it have to be clean. And there's a lot of room. It's a big place. I'm sure the property here. That's a huge place. No problem with that. But don't complain. You get me? Yeah. Don't complain. And I mean, if you're a diplomat and me or rent or something, it can't be cheap. Why it can't be cheap? Is it that you don't want to rip them off? No. Is it the responsibility that is placed on you, the tenant, the landlord, to rent them that property? That's why it don't cheap. If a light bulb want to change, who you think going to change it? Him? It's the landlord who have to change that. Yeah. At no extra cost to the rent. Right? If the place need maintaining, who have to do it? Them? It's the landlord who have to do it. Yeah. And they rent it for a 1 year lease himself. So there's a lot of things in it. Obviously, you don't know the back work. We'll come into that. Plus, they have stipulations before they can rent a place. They check the security of the premises, so you have to spend money to do that, to put in certain security features. So what am I expect? An ordinary person would probably live in the house and some windows have grill. Because he's a diplomat, they're going to tell you, grill all windows. That's expense to you. Right? You the landlord. So every little thing, it costs money to build up the premises to their suit. And then you rent it to them and do me back that money. That don't make sense to me.
But 7,000 a month with a yearly lease is a lot of money. Okay, I had housing in other places around the world, including Switzerland, that were magnificent and didn't even cost that much. Housing on the island is extremely expensive. Driving on the island.
No, brother. Your housing was expensive.
Right. And
it's according to the stipulation of his government.
Right.
Because they all paint this place as a violent place. So they have extra security requirements. Yeah. You were going to say something?
And he never pay $1 that money.
Not $1 come out of his pocket. Sure of
that. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the fact that they drive on the left side of the road. That's fine. England does that, Japan, Hong Kong, no issues whatsoever with that. The issue is that
Canada too. Canada drive on the left side. It's only Americans few other places drive on the right. The majority of the world.
No,
this man has sound like him, like him grew up in a one kind of cave secluded life.
Hold on. If Canada when come from drive on the left side of the road,
Why mention that?
Drive on the left side of the road. That's our agenda, brother.
That's my point.
Yeah, man. Come.
It's an agenda here, and our people have to be mindful of this. And like I said, I blame our government more time. Our government turn a blind eyes to a lot of these things. Right? When they should speak up, guess what? You speak up and they don't like it and they want to do something, then do it. They're doing it anyway. So might as well you know keep your pride, keep some of your pride.
Yeah, keep the people informed.
And keep the people informed. They're doing it. You keeping them out closed, not stopping them from painting a bad picture on you. So speak out against what they are speaking on.
They use their high beams at night all the time. So you get blinded all the time.
They use their eye beams at night all the time. So what eye beam for? The bright. Put it on bright. As opposed to deep.
Could it be that this man had a bad experience in Jamaica and decided that he might tear down Jamaica's reputation?
Well, we have a law against bugging. Maybe that is really what is bugging him.
Maybe he can't get the bug.
Bugging law is bugging him.
There's not much luminosity. And on top of that, to make it worse, okay, the roads are like a war zone. The minute that you're going to have a bit of rain, okay, and you don't have that much of it, but once you do, oh my God, it's flooding like crazy. So that's why the UN was giving us special training, special advanced driving skills in muds and stuff like that. I think
diplomats get these kind of things the world over. All right. You see this the bugger law that we have. What is man name in a, you remember this man who married to a man in America, Buttigieg?
I know that name.
He made a run for president, man.
Okay.
Pete Buttigieg.
Okay. Yeah. Know the name.
All right. He married to a man.
Yeah.
Now, because of our law, really and truly, him should not come out here with a man.
Right.
However, many of them misunderstand the bugger law. The bugger law is not to say that the government is going to come into your bedroom and question your bedroom life. This is what the bugger law is for. You see, rape, as defined by our law, can only take place between a man raping a woman. Right?
Okay.
If a man rape a man, well, I use the term rape, but if a man rape a man, under our law, it's not called rape. It's called buggery, because in law, you have to define these things. So it's called buggery. If a woman rape you, by our law, it's not called rape.
No, but it probably not even have a name.
It have a name, sexual assault.
Okay.
So if a woman force herself on you and have sex with you, it really rape. But by our definition of rape, you can't charge her for rape. You have to charge her for sexual assault.
Yeah.
If a man have anal sex with a woman,
That's buggery.
but by law, it's not the police going to come and find out, say you bug her. As she going to have to report that.
Yeah.
So it is just to protect a potential victim in that area. So if a man go sleep with a man, is the one who has been buggered have to go and report, said this man buggered me. Right? And bring on that charge on him. It's not like, say, police will come and say, I notice the two of you, man, close, we're not up to. And take you to the doctor and search you and see if you don't have meddle in that direction.
Yeah.
Right. But I know that we have many of these high society men, and that's their problem.
Yeah.
They're not saying it openly, but it is a itch to them.
Yeah.
Because they either want to bug their wife or bug another man. And it becomes a problem because as a diplomat, you are expected to follow the laws of the country that you're going into. So if you and your wife used to anal sex in whichever country and come to Jamaica, your security detail is going to advise you against that.
Yeah.
Not that they know that you're doing it, but it's going to be in their briefing, their security briefing, or the briefing of the law of the country to you. The law of the Jamaica is such that you and your wife, if you don't do it, they might tell us to stop.
Yeah.
But is your wife going to have to bring that charge on you?
Yeah.
Just like how who bring charge of rape on you, the man? The woman, the victim.
Yeah.
The victim. Right? A next person can bring that charge on you, and the one who get raped have to do it.
Yeah.
Buggery is no different.
Yeah.
But I know that is their problem.
I think it was really useful. I learned a lot from that course, but the reality is it's needed on the island. Trust me, it's crazy. And I drove all over the place, Mumbai, Hanoi, Vietnam, everywhere. 10 times easy.
We are not Mumbai and Vietnam and them dirty Eden country there.
Yeah.
That's not us.
Easier than driving in Jamaica. The airport and flying in and out of the island, it's a bit of a problem because unfortunately they don't have their own airline, first of all. So the only convenient way to get out of the island from Kingston or even from Montego Bay is to go through Miami, or maybe they're saying they're not going to church or they cannot.
All right, so the video loop back.
Okay.
Oh, you mean the convenient way is to go to Miami already? They don't have straight Canada flight again.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Of course they have straight flight.
So what kind of plane in travel plan as a diplomat?
First of all, they don't have their own airline. We used to have our own airline, but yeah. But even having your own airline, it's not for free use of to diplomats.
Yeah.
If you want, you can rent it. If you have enough money to rent a plane, you rent it.
I thought diplomats go on private jets. I didn't know you have to book a flight.
Yeah, man. Diplomats go to your airport.
Okay.
Even if you make use of a private jet,
Yeah.
you still have to come through the airport.
Okay. Yeah.
But they are treated different through the airport.
Yeah.
When they're going through your airport, they would make a car into the country and then they would have somebody come pick them up and carry them through.
Yeah.
Rather than you go on giant line like everybody else. All right, so we're not going much in you today, but we're going to knock you with some scriptures because we can't finish the day and we don't talk about Putin.
Right.
All right. I'm going to read an article about his country, Canada. Just a brief, sorry.
Name the church they're going to, okay, they're gonna be ostracized, they're gonna be ridiculed. It's insane how my
All right, remove that. Stop share. Share again. Share. All right, this one is to be read. So I'm going to read this one. Canada. All right. Canada's first effort to restrict immigration had started in 1872 when the government banned criminals and those people with a history of violence from entering the country. All right. Not much wrong with that. So if you have basically if you have a criminal Well, but even now the criminals banned from going into another country. That's why they require. But when you go for visa out there, yeah.
Police report.
Eh?
If you have a police, if you have a thing there.
No, they don't use police
Not
report.
Police report. If them ask if you have any have been arrested.
They ask you that?
Not by the embassy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
They ask before they pull it out.
Oh yes, on the form, on the application form. Yes, yes.
More likely disqualify you.
Right.
Right.
Right. So, and that's basically across the board for every country, whether they require to their visa.
Yeah.
All right. Canada's immigration policy soon also ban the entry of Sikh immigrants or those of several racial minorities in 1879. Canada have a not so friendly immigration pass.
Okay. Right.
Yes, they used to see themselves as better than America.
Yeah.
And think of a bourgeois country.
Yeah.
You have to be of the bourgeois class to go there. That's how they saw themselves.
Okay.
Canada prohibited the entry of poor or disabled immigrants. They did that in 1885. They have a bad history against poor people.
Yeah.
Even though they're not too, that's why you notice most of the things I'm complaining about. Your road bad, pay nice in your stadium. It's called stadium for a reason. Your bars are open till late. That's not because you're poor. Obviously, people have some money to spend.
Right, but still, the condition of the roads and then things that basically got at what year point. Basically complain say it not as lavish as
Canada. Yeah. Because Canada was the first and I think the only country that ever banned poor people from coming in the country.
Okay. Yeah.
If they think you're too poor, you don't come here. So.
Right.
And they also banned sick people. All right, we don't need to read more out of that.
Yeah.
They can watch back the video and pause it and read this article. Let me scroll it up a little more too. All right. Scripture, give me. Give me Isaiah 1:18.
Canada one can. Canada one can. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 18. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow.
Listen. Oh, finish it.
Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool.
All right. He had mentioned about, I think in the first part of this video we played last week, he mentioned about our crime status and thing. Does Jamaica have a crime problem? Yeah, man, we have a lot of killing. Something which is common to all Israelite countries at this time.
Yeah.
However, the Most High, we have hope, and we are in our scripture, our records tell us that the Most High is going to cleanse us.
Yeah.
And give him a peek into our future. These things that he's complaining about for us will not be in our future. Right? Though your sins may be red as scarlet. I hear Christians read this and them talk like, they ask questions like, so sin have colors. Well, it's not really Christian who do that. It's the naysayers.
Yeah.
Those who want to bash the Bible. So sin have color. So you're telling me, I think I hear Muta say it one time too. So you tell me now you have this sin. Yeah. And you just change the color and it's accepted. But no, this is not what it is saying. Why it say our sin be red as scarlet? the killing among us is not new.
Right.
Whenever we slip and the Most High is punishing us, this is one of the things that happen. And this was why in Christ's time, he talked about trying to unite back the northern and the southern kingdom. That was one. And, you know, telling you to forgive your brother.
Right.
It's because of the level of killing that takes place among us when we are outside of the Most High's law.
Okay.
That's why they use red as crimson. Why you know red? No blood?
Blood.
The amount of bloodshed will take place within Israelite nations.
Okay.
And say, although you have so, in other words, although you have so much killings, I'm going to make it stop. That's what it is. That's what this is telling us.
Okay.
All right. Give me same Isaiah. Go back up to 1 and 4. Because most time Christian read this, they don't really read it like it is talking to a particular person.
Yeah.
This was speaking to a particular set of people.
Yeah.
Verse 1.
Let's start at verse 1.
Right.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 1. Vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah.
All right, which he saw concerning who?
Concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
Concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
Right.
When he said Judah and Jerusalem, what is he talking about?
It's talking about Benjamin, Levi,
the southern kingdom.
Southern kingdom.
Right. He's not talking only about the tribe of Judah,
right,
but he's talking about the southern kingdom.
Right.
So those who were living within the southern kingdom and Jerusalem at the time, this is who it was for.
Right.
So in that southern kingdom was Judah, Benjamin, half and Levi, who was the original southern kingdom people.
Right.
But when the northern kingdom fell, you know, we have a lot of refugees. You want to know about refugee? Look what is happening in Europe now and Ukraine.
Right.
A whole lot of people fleeing to Poland and other countries. That is no different. Them from the north come down as refugees into the south. We never have visa and all them things, and they were our brothers. We take them in. Right?
Right.
So it was talking about the southern kingdom. Verse 2.
Verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Right. So he means saying, the Most High is saying that we Israelites have rebelled against him.
Right.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's script. But Israel does not know, my people does not consider.
And today is no different.
Right.
Because they would rather listen to
some African
to this man who is the angel of who is a child of the darkness,
right,
was conforming to light.
Right.
Meaning shave up and thing and present themselves like them a smarty.
Right.
But in our scriptures, it basically telling all the while, them people are nobody.
Right.
They don't love anybody but themselves.
Right.
Right? And if you think say is you, they don't like you and like another race, you make a sad mistake. They might like another race above you.
Right.
But they don't, as a matter of fact, some of them don't even like their own people. So they make it seem as if, you know, it's only black people live some. Like, this war in Ukraine, you're going to see some things. Next verse.
Verse 4. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards.
All right. And today is no different. We have forsaken the Lord, which means that the Lord belongs to us.
Right.
We were supposed to be following him in all our doings. Right? But instead, we're gonna have to do what we want to do and to do what these other nations tell us to do, rather than listen to what our Father tell us to do. So that is why we have been called wayward children and all kind of thing, because we don't listen to our Father.
Right.
And we're not talking about our earthly Father, talking about Father God. All right, give me Psalms 83, 1 to 8.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. A psalm or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
All right, so the Most High's enemies are those who are enemies to his people as well.
Okay.
So he's saying now that who make a tumult?
Another one gone. Thine enemies.
The enemies have made a tumult.
Right.
And they that hate God have lifted up his head. And he's going to call them out too. Go on.
Another one gone. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine evil ones.
All right, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Now you know that this is what this man is doing.
Right.
He has taken crafty counsel from those who advise him about Jamaica.
Okay.
Painting us in pictures that is not entirely, putting a spin on some things which, like Canada do have crime.
Okay.
Canada don't have shootings. Canada never did do mass killing and kill out them Native Americans.
Right.
It's just the other day that came out. If and I don't even know how it get to come out. But if it didn't come out, what do you think would happen? The world would know about it.
Right.
We here would know about it. We would have think that Canada is just all this beautiful and dandy place.
Right.
And do better than America and don't even fight a war.
Right.
Which way they wage war against the native Indians there. They are just as evil as any other Esau descendant.
Okay.
Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
And if they have their way in this upcoming world war, you have a country called Jamaica.
Right.
They're going to, you can see it. Their aim is to cut you off from being independent.
Right.
And then you have now be called by a different name, owned by a different set of people.
Yeah.
No ties to England. You can't even bring up this argument again about reparation.
Right.
No talk of that. But the same war, the same war that they are looking towards to change this world is the same war that is going to bring about their demise.
Right.
Continue.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
All right. They are confederate. What confederate mean again? So all the nations that are about to be named has become confederate against the Most High. Find it.
Confederate, joined by an agreement or treaty.
Joined by an agreement or treaty. So they have come together in one agreement. Who are these nations that come together in one agreement against the Most High and the Most High's people? Name them. 7.
Verse 7. Verse 6. The tabernacles
6 verse, yeah.
of Eden.
The tabernacles of Edom. So that is the various different house of Edom, of the Edomites. Europeans in general, Russia, Canada, those in North America. Where else in there? Australia. All those Edomite houses don't like the Most High's people. So don't expect any of them to do any video good about you. Those who you see come out here and them tell about Jamaica this and Jamaica that, and they love it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They love the little experience they get. You want to know if they really love you? Make them pity their government to petition their government to, just like how Ukraine wasn't a part of the eastern bloc of the West, you know. Eastern Ukraine came up under Russia and the communists, you know. And the amount of aid that the West give to Ukraine. Today, who was once their enemy. And we who work and build the West, what do we get?
Nothing, oppression.
Oppression, nothing but oppression. Because what? The tabernacles of Edom does not like the Most High's people. Who else?
And the Ishmaelites.
Them Arabs. They don't like us either. Continue.
Of Moab.
Them Chinese. Don't like we neither.
And the Agarenes.
And the Agarenes. They were around in the time that we were in the land. They are still somewhere up there. Not sure which one of the country. I don't know if it's them. They up. They call that country again. I don't know if ever them they up Turkey or somewhere there, but they are somewhere there still. Who else?
Verse 7. Gibal.
Gibal. I think Gibal is who again? France. I don't know France. No? Gibal and what? Ashura, France.
France is
Sure, I think I give all, you know.
Okay, maybe I missed it. T-Man is Germany.
T-Man is Germany.
Yeah.
All right, so Gibal and who else?
And Ammon.
Ammon, that is the Japanese. They don't like us either. Who else?
And Amalek.
Which is one of the tabernacle of Edom.
Right.
Which is them is the strong arm of the Edomites.
Yeah.
They are the ones behind the whole military industrial complex.
Yeah.
They are the ones who want to sort of guide the world into a war to their benefit. Yeah. Who else?
Philistines.
The original Philistines, I don't know where they are now. Somewhere up in the Middle East, they're staying, you know. The inhabitants of Tyre, that are one African nation. All those people don't like us. And who else? Ashur. All right. So it's either Gibal or Ashur are the French, you know. I don't remember which one the general said that is Ashur. But one of them. Continue.
Also is joined with them. They have all paid the children of Lot.
All right. So they have helped the children of Lot to fight against us.
Right.
And who were children? Who was Lot's children again?
Ammon and
the Japanese and the Chinese.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, you come out here and complain about bad road. We live here, we complain about that.
Yeah.
And you know what the worst thing? When the diplomats then come out here and them get the better part of the country. That you have to actually venture off into elsewhere to get them experience there.
Yeah.
So it look like you start sneak out and go somewhere now. I can go St. Thomas. It look like when they're ready, in get a vehicle that don't have any tracker. So they can pick up where they are, then them left and they go, they want to explore. Must be that what they do because they put them in the better part. Peer them get all the pretty roads. So it look like he's venturing off into uncharted, unknown territories that are restricted by his people.
Right.
Because they tell them where they should go and where they should not go, you know.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so that's it for 8. Ezekiel 20 and 33 to 38. We have a future in this earth, you know. So that is why the Most High said, you know, I make them go and kill themselves, but them will get the earth. Ezekiel, what does it?
20 and 30. 38?
I think I 33, myself.
33. Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 30.
Hold on. I don't think at 30 we start here. Starting from 33. Starting from 33.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 33. As I live, saith the Lord God, and Most High power, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
So you know what it's going to take for the Most High to rule over his people? Stretch out arm, but he's also going to pour out his fury. You know who's going to get his fury? Them.
Right.
Him, same one. They are the ones that they're going to get in the Most High. And what's the Most High's fury in these last days? Them nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Putin have them on high alert.
Right.
This ain't the Cuban Missile Crisis. This look like Putin would use it.
God.
Why? Because when I box Putin in a corner.
God.
In space of 1 week, Putin look like a demon. Yeah. And all that, you know, everybody next week, Putin just turn off your iPhone for Europe. Because you put in all kind of sanction for the man and still drink him oil.
Right. So that if you take off the oil now, how do you get the fuel to fight?
To fight him. Well, near UK says only 3% of Russian fuel they use.
Oh, but I will then pull out long time.
Well, I didn't go in too deep.
Okay, God.
But Germany is in there tooth and nail.
Yeah, God.
France too. France have a good percentage usage of German fuel, of Russian fuel, Russian oil. I don't know wrong with that. It's if Russia sell them oil fairly cheap, you know. It's like the price that he's getting, that they are getting, is not the world market price. And they show you how selfish they are, because they have been plotting to get rid of Putin, you know. All of them in the EU and NATO knows the importance of Ukraine to Russia and to the Russian Empire.
Yeah.
But they went ahead and fattened Ukraine with the West. With monies from the West, they fattened Ukraine, knowing fully well that Ukraine will never have their military support. Right? So it's like me now, on this side of the fence with a bad man over here, so. But me I come over the fence and I take spoils from the next bad man over the fence.
Right.
Which in way the next bad man over the fence, if they give me spoils, him not do so cross the wall to me and say help yourself.
Right.
Right? He not come fight my battle. You get me?
Right.
When more give, why she's on helmet here, protect your head. Right? If they are so much into and so believe into Ukraine, give him your military support.
Right.
Maybe Russia would have backed off from a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, just strike you with nuclear.
No, because Russia would know that if him attack him,
Yeah.
he go and trigger Article 5 of NATO.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Putin don't want that.
Right.
So he probably would not have attacked.
Yeah.
Right? He would just go and sell oil to Europe and go and develop some missile and go and chill. But you now use Ukraine against him. That shows you how they are evil against one another.
Right.
Right? So that is why we know that is only God can really take you out of what we are in. We're not going to come out ourselves.
Right.
Unless you have, and if you have a couple of us who got so bright that we can develop some weapons of mass destruction, who you think they're going to do with it? Sell it back to the same Esau.
Right.
If they will get it, they will never give it to their people. All right, so the Most High said, with few pure out, is going to rule over us. 34.
Verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Mighty hand, stretched out arm, and fury poured out. Stick up in there.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at 35. We're going to play a video. So the Most High say, no matter what we say or what we do, he is going to rule over us because we are his people. We are the sheep of his pasture and not the whole world. All right.
Leadership and also deployment of additional US forces.
Top officials in leading NATO countries have allowed themselves to make aggressive comments about our country. Therefore, I hereby order the Minister of Defense and the Chief of the General Staff to place the Russian Army Deterrence Force on combat alert.
Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his country's deterrence forces, which includes nuclear arms, to be placed on high alert. As we learned that Ukrainian and Russian delegations will meet for talks as soon as today. Here with me now to talk about all of this is the NATO Secretary General, Jens Stoltenberg. Thank you so much for joining me. Russia and Ukraine are agreeing to hold talks without preconditions at the Ukrainian-Belarus border. Do you believe that this is a positive sign, sir?
I have absolute full confidence in President Zelensky and his judgment on whether it is right to sit down and try to find a political solution. NATO has supported the political solution all the way, and then it remains to be seen whether Russia is really willing to make some serious compromises and also to respect the sovereignty of Ukraine.
Vladimir Putin is ordering his country's deterrence forces, including nuclear weapons, on high alert in response to what he called aggressive.
All right. All of them talk about respect the sovereignty of Ukraine. All of you know that Ukraine was originally molded and shaped by Russia. And because of that, UNO don't want him in a NATO. Some of the baddest Russian soldiers were the Ukrainians.
Okay, God.
Yeah. They were roughnecks. And Europe know this. But you all don't really want them. You ain't gonna fight their wars. You don't love them much to fight their wars. You don't love them much to show your security. You talk about sanction and something. Sanction all look good all on paper, you know, but it's no use if it's not enforced. Right? And here you have Putin now put his nuclear, his nukes on high alert. And you come and you talk about sanction and sanction and sanction. The fact that it is on high alert might mean that you just talk about sanction, but you never enforce it. All right.
Comments from the West. How concerned are you about that?
The new statements from President Putin just add to the very aggressive rhetoric we have seen from Russia for many months, and especially the last couple of weeks, where they are not only threatening Ukraine, but also threatening NATO-allied countries and demanding that we should remove all our forces from the eastern part of the alliance. So this is part of that, and it just highlights the importance of NATO allies standing together, North America and Europe standing together, and that's exactly what we are doing. And I would like to commend the United States for the leadership and also deployment of additional US forces to Europe.
I understand what you mean, that this is kind of just the latest in the moves and the rhetoric that Vladimir Putin is making. But when you hear about nuclear weapons or nuclear facilities, that brings it to a different level in the minds of a lot of people. How about you?
Definitely, just the fact that you hear about nukes, different level of Ghana. Trust me, it escalates faster than I had expected. So that is showing you that Putin is not going to allow the West to draw him out into any long war that is going to damage his economy. Before so, we throw in the towel from early. And I don't have any food and you don't have any. All right. He did said when he had mentioned in his warning before, I think it was when him just invade, and him say he knows that NATO combined outnumber the Russian force, but they need to remember that he's a nuclear superpower and him have hypersonic missiles. And there will be no winners. He didn't at the time. He didn't say if he will use it or not. He just said, and there will be no winners. Well, the man who have the advantage when it comes to nukes, you know, is the man who made the first strike. And Putin is showing that he's willing to make the first strike. High alert.
This is dangerous.
Probably not.
Probably won't wait until you get yours on high alert.
Just rhetoric. This is a behavior which is irresponsible, and of course, if you combine this rhetoric with what they are doing on the ground in Ukraine, waging war against an independent sovereign nation, conducting a full-fledged invasion of Ukraine. This adds to the seriousness of the situation, and that's the reason why we both provide support to Ukraine, but also why we over the last weeks and months have significantly increased the presence of NATO in the eastern part of the alliance. US, but also European allies are now stepping up with more troops, more ships, more planes, and why we also have to realize that we are now faced with a new normal for our security. There will be some long-term consequences, and this is just the beginning of the adaptation that we need to do as response to a much more aggressive Russia.
Of course, there will be long-term consequences. It's the beginning of the end of the house of the tabernacles of Edom. The beginning of the end, right? Because this don't look like anybody is going to back off.
Yeah.
All right, you see, I'm gonna play that. Play like more than one to play. Play like more.
Ask about that in 1 second, but Ukraine, I know you've heard, the world has heard, them begging for more help from Western countries. NATO announced Friday that it will provide additional weapons and air defense to Ukraine. When will it get there?
Allies are providing support as we speak, and we have actually a specialist since 2014, since Russia illegally annexed Crimea. NATO allies have provided equipment, training, we helped them to modernize their command and control structure, their defense and security institutions. And this, of course, is extremely important now, because now Ukraine is attacked. And I commend the bravery and the courage of the Ukrainian defense forces, the Ukrainian people, and not least the Ukrainian President Zelensky. But the help that they have received over years is extremely important. We are stepping up with more air defense systems, with more anti-tank systems, ammunition, and we do that to help Ukraine to uphold its right for self-defense enshrined in the UN Charter.
President Zelensky of Ukraine is sharply criticizing European leaders for not allowing Ukraine into your organization, into NATO. Listen to what he said.
Today I asked the 27 leaders of Europe whether Ukraine will be in NATO. I asked directly. Everyone is afraid, does not answer. And we are not afraid. We are not afraid of anything.
Ukraine applied for NATO membership back in 2008. It was never approved. So did NATO fail Ukraine?
This war is President Putin's responsibility. He is fully responsible for the war, for the attack on Ukraine. What NATO allies do is that we provide support to Ukraine, and we are stepping up as a result of the invasion. We tried to find a political solution. We warned against this for many months, and now we are both increasing support to Ukraine, but also increasing the protection and defense for all NATO allies.
No question that this is on Vladimir Putin. But if NATO, if Ukraine were allowed into NATO, one of two things would have happened. Either if this attack happened, all of NATO would have responded under Article 5, or Ukraine being part of NATO would have been a deterrent to Russia. Vladimir Putin would not have invaded in the first place. So the question stands, based on what President Zelensky said, should they have been allowed into NATO?
We have supported their efforts to move towards NATO membership, to help them modernize the defense and security institutions, to meet the NATO standards, to fight corruption. But at the end of the day, we need consensus, 30 allies to agree. That's the way we make decisions in NATO. And our message to Russia is that it is for Ukraine to decide whether they aspire for membership, and it's for 30 allies to assess when and if Ukraine meets those standards. As long as Ukraine is not a member, they will remain a very highly valued and close partner, and a partner that we will continue to support. So regardless of what you may think about NATO membership, there is no excuse whatsoever for Russia to invade a peaceful, democratic country as Ukraine.
Right. Well, on that note, for the first time in history, you are activating NATO's response force and deploying additional military forces to its eastern flank near this region. Do these moves indicate that you think that Russia poses a real and potentially imminent threat to NATO members?
We don't see an imminent threat, but we see a much more aggressive Russia, which is contesting core values for our security, willing to use force against Ukraine, but also threatening NATO allies. And that's exactly why we, over the last years, since actually 2014, have increased our presence, and over the last months have stepped up further with thousands of more troops, and also deploying parts or elements of the NATO response force for the first time in a collective defense mission. And this is something we do to remove any room for misunderstanding, miscalculation in Moscow about our readiness to protect and defend all allies. An attack on one ally will trigger a response from the whole alliance. And
all right. First of all, we don't have the rights to this. It's a CNN thing. We're just doing it for educational purposes, not for any monetary gain. So I don't need to trouble with it there, okay? All right. Now we have some other one to look at. Because really more than one want to get it from get another perspective.
Well, in terms Putin has ordered Russian military commanders to put the country's strategic nuclear forces on
this one is from BBC.
Special alert, their highest level. Speaking at the Kremlin, he said Western countries have taken unfriendly actions towards Russia, including what he called unlawful economic sanctions. And as we just had in a statement from Ukraine's President Zelensky, he has said that he has agreed to talks between Russia and Ukrainian delegations at the border with Belarus. That development in the last 20 minutes as well. Well, in terms of what is happening on the ground, the Russian assault on Ukraine, that continues on several fronts. Officials say the second city of Kharkiv remains under Ukrainian control despite heavy street fighting. Russian infantry vehicles have been seen driving through residential areas, and Ukrainian fighters have been clashing with Russian soldiers on foot. The situation is currently quieter in the capital, Kyiv, though smoke continues to billow from an oil depot that was blown up close to the city last night. Residents have been warned of the potential of toxic fumes. President Zelensky has accused Russian troops of deliberately bombarding civilian residential areas in what he called a brutal night of assaults. The UN Refugee Agency estimates that almost 400,000 people have fled Ukraine to escape the conflict. Angus Crawford has the very latest.
Combat on the streets of a European city. Ukrainian soldiers using rocket-propelled grenades in Kharkiv.
All right. That's not the part we want. All right. Give me, continue reading verse what right now?
Verse 35.
35.
Canada one can.
Read 34 again.
Canada one can. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people and with Slakia, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out.
All right, and that fury is those global nuclear war.
God.
Continue.
God, verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
So after the most I move you from here, so trust me, that is when we going to meet our Waterloo with him. When him start pleading with us face to face. Because you're not one, you ain't got nowhere to run to. So you want to think you can flee and say, I run going to England. I run going to America. England is no more. America no more. When that fury mash up the world, you have nowhere. The only place you have is right where he is. Right? So you either going to have to listen or you die. What about I do? You have nowhere to run go. All right. You see, Christians really need to read the Bible. But better yet, you need to come in the truth so that we can interpret the Bible to you properly to prevent you from meeting them kind of doom when the Most High start playing with you.
And you know, they are probably listening and these other faith Israelite groups listening to our breakdowns and using them.
Yeah, man.
You know, we probably should copyright them and put patent on them and sue them whenever they use them.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because no, it will look like them have some knowledge when they are basically just stealing the I.S.U.P.K breakdowns. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, how we have to look at it. Those who get trapped by them, the most I wasn't interested in them.
Yeah.
All right, one more.
Verse 36.
All right, Khan.
Another one, Khan. Verse 36. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord.
So,
the Most High Power.
So this is, I can't read what I see, man.
Yeah.
This is what is letting you know that this is something to come.
Right.
Because he said, just like how he plead with you in the wilderness in Moses' time, when they take you out of Egypt, so that's how he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
How did he plead with us then? Kill out most of it. About 2 man did make it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you that I'm going to do the same thing again. So if you want to take this period of grace and say the laws are done away with, so I don't have to keep them, or use the period of grace and say, you know, let me use this period and see and try keep the laws, practice keeping the laws.
Right.
Let me keep the laws like we are doing in the truth. Live by them.
Right. Which is, you know what I mean? What always that difficult.
It's difficult if you're a pork lover.
Right.
It's difficult if you're a homo. It's difficult if you are a child molester.
Right. And guess what we probably I say is what disadvantage would that bring to you then?
You can't molest no child. You can't eat pork.
Right.
So they see that. Remember, a pastor said, "Boy, I mean, love pork.
Yeah.
If God didn't want we feed, he should make it so sweet."
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
If that's the way you want to see it and you want God to plead with you and kill you,
Right.
well, your business that.
Right.
But as for me and my house, we will serve God.
Right.
Right? And we know that there are a lot more brothers out there who want to do likewise.
Right.
But they are probably being bombarded for whatever reason. Some of them maybe don't even get the truth yet.
Yeah.
We know that they will be getting it. So that time has never been so visible till now.
Right.
Because this is not what is happening now is not any bluff.
Yeah.
What is looming over this world right now is not a bluff. You can't look at it and say, Putin is a good what do I want to call him?
A good negotiator.
A good negotiator or something like that.
Yeah.
No.
In a corner.
Putin is being backed in a corner.
Yeah.
All right, we'll listen to one more now. This one is from Uno. This is from France 24. Right, this is a nice one.
Affairs Editor Armin Georgian. Hello to you, Armin. This statement coming out just moments ago, we're still trying to sparse out what exactly it means, but give us an idea. Well, it means that
she is still trying to sparse out. What exactly does it mean? It means get off my back.
Okay. Remove
those unlawful sanctions and stop talking about war crime. You're going to pursue us for war crime. Hello, I just destroy this whole thing. That's what it means.
that nuclear forces are being readied. It doesn't mean that they're going to be used, but I'm not sure it is actually.
You know, I like the spirit that you people have, you know. Yeah, I like the spirit, man. He ain't gonna use them. I watch on the news when I listen when them say, if you look like Putin wants some psychological analysis. Psychologically analyzing. You can't fire them out because I analyze them.
That staggering, Will, to go back to your introduction, because as you also said, he did mention this nuclear issue in that address on the eve of the war, when he effectively issued a veiled statement about nuclear weapons to the West. He said, I'm slightly paraphrasing, but it was something like, if you interfere with what we're doing, you will meet a response that you have never experienced in your lives. That was clearly a reference to Russia's nuclear weapons. So I think today's statement, when you go back to what he said on the very eve of the war, it's actually not entirely surprising. But, and of course, there have been these rising tensions with some in Finland, and some moves in Finland and Sweden expressing an interest in NATO, and that drawing a very stark response from the Russian government a couple of days ago only. So definitely the tensions are rising between Russia and the West, between Russia and NATO particularly. So certainly it looks like we could be approaching a very dangerous moment here.
We don't know what it...
Just now I say it, you know, we could be approaching World War III. In just trying to hold it back.
Aggressive statements he's alluding to, but we do know that more and more countries are offering military aid to Ukraine.
Well, absolutely. I mean, at the moment, what the West is doing is still focusing on this idea of direct help to Ukraine, rather than doing what a lot of Ukrainians that I've seen on social media are calling for, which is an actual no-fly zone. But I'm assuming that if there was to be much, civilian casualties on an even greater scale, the calls would mount for NATO to step in directly. The difference, of course, if you're talking about no-fly zones, the difference with something like Iraq in the early 1990s is that the West would be then in direct confrontation with a nuclear power. It's not the same as taking on, the Iraqi leadership, which at the time didn't actually have the famous weapons of mass destruction, which were not even found after the Western intervention. So I think, here
you bring up a good point. When the West go and tell lie upon Saddam, talk about weapons of mass destruction, which was not even found. What he's saying is, no, this is not a bluff like Saddam time. This, if you want to bring up weapons of mass destruction, Russia has it.
Real weapon of mass.
Him have it. So don't take anything here as any bluff.
Talking about a potentially much more dangerous situation. We're not there yet, but clearly the escalation is going up a notch now between the West and Russia.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Armin Georgian, Principal Force, International Affairs Editor.
You're right. When I say it's going up a notch, more than a notch. Yeah. Putin is playing poker. Putin say all in. I'm betting it all on Ukraine. And if you all come trouble me, you're gonna feel my nukes. All right, what verse we reach now?
Verse 7.
7 or 37?
37.
Now which book we in again? Ezekiel. Yeah, read that.
God one gun, verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
All right. So that is our future here, Mr. Diplomat. The Most High have good plans for us. The Most High is not criticizing our faults and using it against us as you are trying to do it from a, you are at an advantage because your people destroy us, and you are going to further use that advantage now to destroy us, rather than to say, let's see what I can do for these people who my people has destroyed. Let's see what I can do from my advantage that I have now as a diplomat. No, but you seek now to use that advantage to bring us further underneath.
Yeah.
That is terrible, and you will be judged terribly by the Most High power. Remember me tell you that. And I know what I'm talking about. You're going to be preserved just so that you can be punished. Right? Because you shouldn't have done these things. You shouldn't have. Why? What's your angle for doing it? You want to bring more sin on us so that you can continue reigning? Nah. The Most High have another plan, man. The Most High have another plan for us, brethren. All right. So you've sanctioned, you drop a lot of sanction on Putin. Putin getting nuclear weapon on high alert. And I don't think it's a bluff, because we know that at some point these nukes are going to fly. Whether it is this time or a little later down the road, we don't know, but this time look serious.
Yeah.
Right? This time right here now look really serious. And Putin don't look like the kind of man who is going to lop him tail between him leg and say, all right, you know, let me back off.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that kind of guy. You read 38?
Yeah.
All right, close it to 38.
God, verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel.
All right. Remember where we are. Yeah. So you criticizing us, but the Most High is telling you that he is going to remove those bad people from among us. And those bad people will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. Right? So we have a bright future, Mr. Diplomat. We do. As for now, you and the various houses of Edom is our biggest adversaries. Yeah. You're not allowing us to grow. You keep on putting pressure on us that affect our down to our dollar. You call it inflation. You know, year by year, you're crimping on us with inflation. So the moment a war break out, any country who have inflation like this, the moment a war break out, what do you think happen? The country must go under. Yeah. Right. So that is why they are keeping this inflation on Jamaica year by year. Because Jamaica is not supposed to be around when they have them planned war. But, you know, this is our future in the scriptures, and it was written thousands of years before you or I. And I have faith in them. I have none in you. So we know that our future is assured. And we also know that your destruction is also assured. We know that much. All right. All unto you now. Second Esdras 15 and 17.
Gun.
Or just hold that. We're going to find another video. You know, last week we were talking about Putin and go bust NATO tomato. Hey, we never expect it so soon. We don't go out, but my gosh. The man have him nukes. You know, we are 1 month away from the Passover. A lot of things were going to happen before the Passover. You know? A lot of things going to happen. If they reach this level already, so early in the game, things going to happen by Passover. Maybe by Passover, need to break up. But one thing we know, with this word Passover that General YAHANNA is planning, the Most High will be impressed, and the Most High is gonna see us worthy for Him to destroy our adversary. Right. All right, that's one thing we know. All right, let me see which other video I'm going to give you now. Let's see one more way. One more of Putin. So which one I can use now? I think we didn't play this one. MSNBC, I don't think we didn't play this one.
Russia from the SWIFT system. One of the reasons it hasn't been used, breaking news that is just developed, President Vladimir Putin of Russia has put his nuclear deterrent forces on high alert. Now, the U.S., as you know, maintains with Russia a balance of power of nuclear missiles that would mutually assure the destruction of either one if one of them were to launch it. This is interesting because a few moments ago I was telling you about the SWIFT system and removing Russia from the SWIFT system. One of the reasons it hasn't been used is because it would be such a strong sanction that people have referred to it as the nuclear option. Except that it's not. It doesn't have any nuclear weapons associated with it. It's just that serious. It does seem that under pressure, Vladimir Putin is considering the idea that his nuclear option is worth reminding the world about in the face of growing sanctions and opposition to the invasion of Ukraine. Joining me now is Ruth Ben-Ghiat. She's a professor of history at New York University. She's the author of
I think this was the one where they talk about psychological analysis.
Leaning to the present. Professor, this is...
So the Swiss bomb thing is their alternative to the nuclear option. But Russia reminded that there is a real nuclear option. In case let's try that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. NATO don't have any serious weapon and they activate defense. There is something other than Article 5, which allows them to activate some serious defense, which they did. They said that is unprecedented. It's the first they're doing it. I don't remember what it was,
Brand new news. There have been people who over the last few days have talked about things, the lines that the U.S. and NATO will not cross so as not to trip into, accidentally, World War III, particularly a war between nuclear powers. Vladimir Putin mentioned his nuclear arsenal the other day.
The thing is, the West labeled Kim Jong-un as a madman. Never know that the real madman look like them. Right? You have Vladimir Hitler, right, and right in the seat now. You stay there. Your thing is Kim Jong-un this.
In declaring the invasion of Ukraine, which surprised some people, and now he has done something in which he said we're putting them on high alert. What do you make of this news?
It's interesting how quickly he got this out. He did warn about it, but you know, this is a perfect storm for Putin. And if you know autocrat psychology, none of this is, excuse me, none of this is surprising because he badly miscalculated. He didn't expect, he's elevated Zelensky to world figure, leader of democracy. He's given new prestige and resolve to NATO. And 2 words, Ali, elite defection. So his oligarchs have started to speak out against him, Abramovich and Friedman, and this is a huge deal. Those people are just as transactional as he is, but this shows that his power, what he feared secretly and why he did this invasion, is not as stable. You have reports of Russian functionaries, state functionaries resigning, and of course the protests in St. Petersburg and elsewhere. So the nuclear card is showing, it's very logical that autocrats become highly destructive and desperate, and we saw this with Gaddafi, but I think that there might...
So this with Gaddafi. Gaddafi didn't have any nuclear weapon or any weapon of mass destruction.
Be some intervention at the highest level if this nuclear posturing goes on.
The White House has issued a response to this immediately, saying at every step of this conflict, Putin has manufactured threats to justify more aggressive actions. He was never under threat from Ukraine or from NATO, which is a defensive alliance that will not fight in Ukraine. The only reason his forces face a threat today is because they invaded a sovereign country and one without nuclear weapons. This is yet another escalatory and totally unnecessary step. This is true. There was no threat to the Soviet Union or to Russia from Ukraine. There was never any threat. Russia invented at various times, you and I have been talking about it for weeks, a threat that NATO's been encroaching upon them, a threat that there are Nazis running Ukraine, the idea that there's a genocide of Russian-speaking people in Donetsk and Luhansk, none of which is true. But bottom line is this strategy, or should we be worried about Vladimir Putin and his state of mind right now, because he does have nuclear weapons?
We should be very worried because we're living through this cycle in history, and Putin is in my book, and I identified him as vulnerable in the paperback version that came out in October, because he, you know, when you've been in power so long and you wield this kind of absolute power, you lose track with reality. And we saw these recent meetings where he was at these absurdly large tables with a lot of distance between himself and his Security Council. And this showed me he was very isolated, perhaps not getting good intelligence. Nobody wants to, you know, to say things he doesn't want to hear. And this is an autocrat syndrome. And it's then that they do these things out of vanity, out of, you know, delusions of grandeur. And this is what Ukraine was. But then if it backfires, the worst thing for an autocrat is to be humiliated. And between the response of the economic sanctions, there are things directed at Putin personally. All of these are lived as humiliations. And so they get into a very bad state of mind. And you can only hope that those around him who have power recognize that. And many times in autocratic history, starting with Mussolini, who was removed by his own Grand Council, there are solutions to when an autocrat gets too deranged.
Yeah, man. So all of you think that Putin is deranged. Why you think nuclear weapons are made? Nuclear weapons are made to be used. It's the most sized weapons of indignation. So they're going to have to be used. They are going to be used. All right. So how EU respond now? The EU have put out a response to what Vladimir Putin did. And that response not so favorable either. They respond by banning all the Russian flights. No, nothing from Russia not supposed to fly into Greater Europe.
I'm going to jump in there because Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, is speaking.
All right. This news is from Sky News.
We'll present to you the proposal in a few minutes. At the same time, we're strengthening once more our sanctions against the Kremlin and its collaborator, Lukashenko's regime. First, we are shutting down the EU airspace for Russians. We're proposing a prohibition on all Russian-owned, Russian-registered and Russian-controlled aircraft. These aircraft will no more be able to land in, take off, or overfly the territory of the European Union. This will apply to any plane, owned, chartered, or otherwise controlled by a Russian legal or natural person. So let me be very clear. Our airspace will be closed to every Russian plane, and that includes the private jets of oligarchs too. Second,
you get rich now and can have a private jet. You think you must fly cover that country. So you know, they are trying to turn them against Putin. Now, Putin is going to counter that now by turning them against each other. Now, let's see if that works. We're going to watch this week and see if that part works.
In another unprecedented step, we will ban in the European Union the Kremlin's media machine. The state-owned Russia...
All right, so they will ban even them news media. So that means they must not broadcast within Europe.
Today and Sputnik, as well as their subsidiaries, will no longer be able to spread their lies to justify Putin's war and to sow division in our union. So we are developing tools to ban that toxic and harmful disinformation in Europe. And third, we will target the other aggressor of this war, Lukashenko's regime.
All right, these moves don't look overnight, you know. Yeah, man. The West have decided to go in an all-out war with Russia long time. They were just waiting on the moment to start. This don't look like something that's coming just since morning. This morning we wake up and hear Putin ready the nukes, and then they come in with this countermeasure. Nah, they have this plan and put on.
Lukashenko's regime is complicit in the vicious attack against Ukraine. So we will hit Lukashenko's regime with a new package of sanctions. We will introduce restrictive measures against their most important sectors. This will stop their exports of products from mineral fuels to tobacco, wood and timber, cement, iron, and steel. We will also extend to Belarus the export restrictions we introduced on dual-use goods for Russia. This will also avoid any risk of circumvention of our measures against Russia. And in addition, we will sanction those Belarusians helping the Russian war effort. All these measures come on top of the strong package that I presented to you last night, agreed by our international partners. Under this package, important Russian banks will be excluded from the SWIFT system. We will also ban the transactions of Russia's central bank and freeze all its assets to prevent it from financing Putin's war.
No, that's an act of war. These are not moves you make in a country that is a nuclear power. Right. Unless you are hoping that, one, they are stupid enough to walk away, or two, they are stupid enough to use it. So you're banking on one of the two things. Which one they banking on? We don't know. But
calling his bluff.
Basically, I try to tell Putin now, say, bluff, you bluff.
I never expect that you would have done this and now using the sanctions to call this bluff. You know what I mean?
All right, let's see if I bluff, you bluff. That's what I'm probably saying. But guess what? If he's not bluffing, you may not live to find out.
Right.
Well, I think Putin will make one strike. I kind of doubt that.
Right.
He's probably going to strike the stronger countries first.
Strike at the same time.
Yeah. You're not going to strike, he probably won't strike all NATO one time.
Right.
But you know the strength of NATO. America, France, Germany. Germany don't really have no bad military. America, France, EU. Sorry, UK. So America and UK. If you look out America and UK, well, France probably going to be on his side. Well, we teach that in the truth that France is coming. France and Gibal, man. Gibal is going right back to him. Right?
Yeah.
Right back into Russia. France never fight on the same side as America in World War II with them. But, you know, white man, look out for white man.
Yeah.
And we will target the assets of Russian oligarchs. We continue to coordinate closely with partners around the globe, and we remain in close contact with our Ukrainian friends. President Zelensky's leadership and his bravery and the resilience of the Ukrainian people are outstanding and impressive. They are an inspiration for all of us. We welcome with open arms those Ukrainians who have to flee from Putin's bombs.
All you know do is just boost up Zelensky, right? You're just boosting up Zelensky. You're just telling, you know, we admire your courage. If you admire it so much, why not take him on your side? Take him on your side, man. And stop take the man for a fool.
So yeah, those couple of Putin's general them don't look pleased. As in, they don't look like this is a laughing matter.
The man them know said they may expect to go in and take over the Ukraine, yes, but the assurance with them, the assurance that the Russian government gave Putin was nuclear. So if you're going to give him nuclear assurance, he might just use it, you know. Right? And it's not just one in going to strike and forget about it. You're going to keep it coming.
Right.
Since as you know he's going to put me out in the sun to die, well, why not just take some of you with me? That's probably where it's going to go. But if you notice what happened, Putin put up his assurance of the nuclear weapon. The West, EU in particular, respond. We're still not hear from Biden yet, you know. The EU respond with sanctions. But this is how the Most High respond to both sides. Give me second Esdras, 15 and 17.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
Right.
I mean, you can't go in a Kyiv now.
Right.
You can't go in any of the cities of the Ukrainians now.
Right.
Why? Continue.
Canada 1 verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled.
Because of their pride. So no one is saying, you know what? Let me be the bigger man.
Right.
Let me be the one to back off. No one is saying that.
Right.
So it's pride that is going to destroy.
Right.
And we can back that up again. Give me, because the pride of your heart with Esau. How we go again?
God, the pride of your heart.
Where the Most I tell Esau that because of the pride of his heart, that is why him fall in the problem where him in. So it tell Esdras that because of the pride of their heart, their cities will be troubled.
Yeah.
Right, the pride of your heart deceive you.
Right. Obadiah 1 and 3.
Obadiah, man. Obadiah. 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Esau has nothing but pride.
Every scripture is to him.
Obadiah.
God. 1 and 3.
You find it?
God, sir.
All right. Book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 3.
God, one gun. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
This is what EU basically saying now, you know.
Right.
And NATO, you know. Who you be Russia?
Right.
You come out and talk about the ready nuclear. Guess what? I'm sanctioning everything from Russia.
Right.
Right? No, something like that can read just once, you know.
Let's read it again.
Definitely.
God, one gun. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Well, today we see that fulfilling.
Right.
In space of 1 day you hear from two sides, and it's nothing but pride.
Right.
Pride of their heart. Just like the pride of Pharaoh's heart in the time of Egypt. That's how you know you're in Egypt again, you know.
Right.
It's mirrored. The same thing that happened then is happening now. Pride in the hearts of a ruler. No one wants to back off. So I put my nukes on alert rather than you say, you know what, let us start.
Yeah.
You respond to me by telling all of my citizens that you can't go into Europe. Ban all your goods. Ban your allies' goods.
Right.
The pride of your heart will deceive you. And you know what the deception? Them believing that this man won't use it.
Right.
You believing that Putin won't be using it. That won't be using these nukes and these hypersonic missiles. But guess what? Knock. Putin will bust your tomato.
Right.
Yeah, man. The most I always choose worthy adversaries, you know. Trust me, Putin is worthy. Putin ain't a bluff. The most I can't take no bluff, man, you know.
Yeah.
So you know that Putin will do what he says. Zechariah 11, 4 to 5.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord, O my power, feed the flock of the slaughter. Verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold them not guilty.
Hold themselves.
And hold themselves not guilty.
All right. So to that, diplomat, we say, boy, you know, your ancestors and those now slay us because this killing and these things that is taking place out here. You all taught us, you came out here and you reminded, well, you taught terrorist activities to the common man, right, and expect them not to use it. So you achieve a goal and then you gone, but you leave us with not just the city end of the stick, but the entire stick full of SHIT, yeah, right? And then you come back now and you talk about that. But your future is thus the pride of your heart. That is what is going to deceive you. Right. And our future is this. The Most High said, we better feed the flock. Right. We same one who you kill and hold yourself not guilty. And I'm going to leave you with this one. Give me Isaiah 29, verse 22. God. Because all of you take the Most High for a joke. Right? Who shall bring me down to the ground? Well, we'll see. We'll see who going to answer the question. Who shall bring you down to the ground? Let's see. Right. Come like we're going to see it before Passover too. We're going to see. There's so much we're going to see before Passover. I didn't expect so much at all. And things say that at least wait till after Passover, then you talk about the nukes, you know? Well, you know, you put them out. Maybe you want us to celebrate Passover with the Most High. Right. Damn! Oh, God. Go Putin. Wouldn't that, no, that would be a glorious Passover. Right. That would be Kabbalah. Celebrating the Passover again with Christ. Right. And I would raise a toast to Putin. To Putin. Long live the man who bust NATO tomato. It seems as if this thing is going to escalate so fast. Faster than we think. My word. But the Most High said that day is not a day for me to look forward to. I'm not looking forward to that day. Though. Well, they know what I'm looking forward to? My freedom. Right. The freedom of our people from under the hand of this beast, right, that is putting the foot in the necks of our people. That is what I am looking forward to. War is never pretty. That's why the Most High not going to let us experience it. It's not nice. War is ugly. But we don't have pride. We don't want war. We don't. Right. That is why we take on the licks all these years. Because we know that war is ugly. Finish that?
Yeah, I'm going to read it.
Read it.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 22. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face nor wax pale.
Isaiah what? 29?
29 and 22.
All right. So the Most High telling you, Mr. Diplomat, that we who are descendants of Jacob shall not be ashamed. Right? Thus said the Lord who redeemed Abraham. So far back him go. Talk about our forefather Abraham. Concerning the house of Jacob, couple generations later after Abraham, Jacob's descendants shall not now be ashamed. So all the talk you're talking at us and you're telling us, but you're basically telling us that we're poor and drive on the wrong side of the road. We're driving on the right. It's not the wrong side of the road. It name left side. And we drive. And you talk about this and but you have to have security. You don't have to have not a security. Right. Nobody in Jamaica attacking. But just look how stupid him be now. Is him same one say, but at least they still respect diplomats. Yeah. And you talk about you have to have security while you go take a swim. Right. We are not the one who's going to be ashamed. Pretty soon, you are the one who's going to be ashamed. Right. And I hope the Most High preserve you in a bunker so that you and I met face to face.
Can be a nice
You meet the Abada one. Yeah, a long time I don't need to meet him. The Most I have prepared. Right, under Captain Nayatak. Right, pretty soon you should meet him and know who he is.
Right.
And guess what? He's gonna have two other generals beside him. One is a young man now and coming up.
Right.
And the other is the spear that you will be slaughtered with.
Right.
We won't be ashamed or confounded, brother.
Right.
All right. So, if you have any question to ask us, you can type it in our thing there. We know somebody going to forward the visit to you. And we know right now we don't threat to you because we wouldn't mind to pump some Canadian dollar and tell us, you know what, grow the school. Yeah, see, I'm not going to pay 1 month rent. Here is the money. Right? But we know our future. Do you know yours?
Right.
All right. Any questions?
No.
Question? We read 23 already?
No, you never said 23, sir.
22 and 23.
God, verse 23. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the only one of Jacob, and shall fear the power of Israel.
All right. That's our future.
Right.
What is your future? Because of the pride of your heart, your cities are troubled.
Right.
And give me what Obadiah said again. Go back in Obadiah. Let me give you a little more on your future, Mr. Man.
God.
Back to Obadiah.
God.
I'll tell you where in Obadiah to give me. Where the Most High is going to do to his seed. And there shall none remain of the house of Esau. None shall remain of the house of Esau. Verse what that? I think it's closer to the end.
Shall not be any remain of the house of verse 18.
Verse 18.
God, verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame.
Guess what? We are the fire, the flame that is going to burn. This is our future meeting your future now. We're going to be the fire, the flame, and you're going to be what?
God. And the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble.
The house of Esau going to be the burning wood.
God.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken.
That's how I know you and I are going to meet face to face.
Yeah.
Right? And not on this side.
Right.
But when we are on the side of the Lord, we're going to meet. And you're going to apologize.
Right.
I don't know if I might take it, but you're going to apologize. I don't know if I might take it.
Yeah.
But as for now, boy, on a wicked, on a cruel, on a have no heart against the Most High people. What is it you don't want to see? You don't just want to see we disappear. Baby, well, don't go on a Mars, man. You don't have rocket for carrying on Mars.
Right.
Or better yet, leave Jamaica alone. Leave Jamaica alone. Allow Jamaica to grow. Allow Jamaica to get, the problems. We have problems on our own, and then you come in creating more. Allow to at least get over the problems that you have created. Right? Allow us to work our way out of this poverty that you have put us in with your inflation measures, inflationary measures. Every plan where the government come up with, no good thing come out of it, Them ensure that, You remember when they just realized that we don't support weed, but when they just realized that they're going to free up the ganja. IMF tell our government, boy, I wouldn't run towards that, I would really stick to these measures. They discredited the government from doing it. Sorry, discourage the government from going that way. When they encourage the government to go that way, when some white planters now get interested in weed and start to come to Jamaica, then obviously they finance the government setting up the regulatory body to regulate how you plant weed. As long as their people is benefiting. Right? And these are the things you people don't look at and say, well, we don't leave anything for them to grow with. So what are they to do? But just like Obadiah says, there shall none remain in the house of Esau. And that will be rightfully and deservedly so, because the Most High has spoken it, that the Most High know more. One thing we come all these years we're learning, with the tough edit still, like I take with 2,000 years to learn, say, no, nobody. 2,000 odd years it take me to learn. Say, oh, no, nobody. Right? But now we learn. And the Most High, we trust what He says. We trust what He says now, because He know more than we. And He's telling us, you know nobody. Get rid of him. And I know me going to get rid of him. Him going to do that. As a matter of fact, I'll not do it to yourself. Not talk to Putin. Talk to Putin and talk to EU, because EU not EU just taking Zelensky just the other day. Just the other day become a member of EU.
Okay, so all of them wasn't a member of EU.
Them leave him out there for son.
Yeah.
Son, them not son him.
Yeah.
He was the bait. To draw. But them thing is their bait. It's the Most High's bait. Because the Most High write it a long time saying go and put hook in a gog jar. Well, now we know that it seems like that hook is Ukraine, because we haven't seen anything where the way Russia is willing to give up all, and not even during the Cuban Missile Crisis. They negotiated and pulled back. Ukraine is the first thing we see where Russia is willing to throw in all, bet it all. Because what? That's a hook in their jar. But, and to you I say for now, make sure you have a bunker. My bunker soon come. You say we love talk about soon come. Yeah, my bunker soon come. If your bunker ain't coming. The one that you are going in the cleft of the rock, you have that. Lucky you. I shouldn't say lucky you. Good for you. And good for me too that you have it, Yeah, we soon come find you. Yes, Father. Is there no questions? All right, we don't have any question online either. So with that, we pass the class to Priest and Officer Kayadon.
All right, clap it up.
we can do.
Yes, man. This thing I'm leave on there. This piece not leave. Alright, these are the ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, when a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. That is the Passover. You know what I mean? This is the 14th day of the first month, and it will be held in Cocoa Beach, Florida, on Friday, April the 15th this year. You can find the Passover in the book of Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 51, in the book of Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 to 5, and also in the book of 1 Corinthians 5, 7 to 8, and 2 Corinthians 30 and 17. Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say Imadium, which means to stand. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Sarwapanya Akwadam, which means turn and face the east. Abanawa, Shabashamaya, Kwadash, Aya, Shamka, Yahawa, Malakwatka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Aya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Aya, Washamaya, Nathanlanawa, Akam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawabwat Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawabwat Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabaya Anawa, Wanasaya, Abal, Awashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapara, the Iwalamia, Amen.
In English, our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debt.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. Amen.
Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
that speak against us,
thy
prophets,
prophets,
the teachers,
the
princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the
Israelite brothers and the school,
and the school,
send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel, that refuse to give to the school, force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary, send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, and the nations, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Posse Comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channel, and the radio channels, convict the spirit of any of thy people, that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction, to all the heathen, that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your word, throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plague shake. The house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucers. And punish all the heathens. That come up against us. As we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. That it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahawashi. Thank you always so be. Prayer for the power.
Alright, this is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Basham Yahawashi. Baba Kwasha. Nathan Lanawa. Akak. Larapa. Kalmakala. Wakal Madawa. Akak. Lata'a. Amatazaraya. Akak. La Akwaya. Amathia. Akak. Irakawa. Atamala. Nagarasha. Basham Yahawashi.
Tawadama. In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahawashi. Please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out in the name of Yahawashi. Thank you, so be. Prayer for the blessing.
Alright, this is the prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Basham Yahawashi. Barak Lanawa. Wayasharala. Wa'a. Bayatsaparia. Barak. Rapa'a. Magan. Hagan. Commanding General YAHANNA. The General. Captains. The officers. Troopers. The young men and the sisters. Basham Yahawashi.
Tawadah. Alright, what I just said in English. Yahweh in the name of Yahawashi, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahawashi. Thank you, so be.
Alright, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I'm Adium Shabbat. I'm Adium. Barak. Yahweh Basham Yahawashi Barakatah. Yaramata, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. I'm Adium Shabbat. I'm Adium. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Basham Yahawashi. Yaramata, class dismissed.
right. Now remember, like, subscribe, and share our videos. And remember to pay your tithes. I.S.U.P.K. ISUPK.com and pay your tithes. Your 1/10 that you pay to the Most High is what go towards waking up your people. When you say wake up, I mean wake them up to their nationality, who they are. So, until we meet again, go to ISUPK.com. Yeah. All right, where is this thing now? Passover. Yeah.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of wars.
Control your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. This is going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up.
No cowards in our camp.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of wars.
Control your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean? This here right here is about to be holy ground. This will be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the